So, after a little reset, Daryl is now the sole survivor of the prison. But with the encroaching hordes, who knows for how long. But if you haven't seen any of that, playlist down below. But previously, our new character Daryl investigated some gunshots he heard, just to find a burning building and swarms of the undead. And whilst looking for a vehicle, stumbles upon Rick's old truck, with a map of everything Rick's achieved and had planned next. But Daryl takes refuge in Rick's prison base, hoping for his return, but he never does. And to avenge his friend, Daryl wages war on Rosewood, killing thousands of the undead, and begins to build a defensive wall, but all in vain, as the hordes of the undead push us back to the prison, which is then put under siege by the never-ending hordes. And even with Daryl's attempts to burn them all out, there's still thousands of them, and we're all caught up. With Daryl's struggles of the last week, we have to really put a plan in action. We need weapons and ammo, as the ammo supply has definitely taken a hit recently. We need some tools and supplies, and finally, a sustainable food and water source. But these plans can wait, as Daryl's pretty tired from burning the undead. We chill for the rest of the day, then call it a night, waking up on day 78, and start off by fixing a few of the most useful weapons, the mighty axe, and spend the start of the day putting the axe to work, looting around the prison, just in case we missed anything, and killing a few Zeds as we go, and finding a locker room that I've never seen before. I never knew there was a locker room there. And realising there was a better bag in the armory this whole time. Then heading over to the kitchens, in hopes there would be a sack there so we could move the dirt around to make a farm. But no luck. But somehow, we didn't notice there was a little patch of grass outside our base. So the farming begins, first digging it up, and then planting some broccoli and tomatoes. Then spending forever watering all the plants, which uses all our water outside. We definitely need to make some more rain collectors. And it's getting late, so we head to bed, waking up on day 79. And when the sun comes up, we decide to head out, as the plan for today is to acquire some of these much needed items. The welding mask, so we can begin to make some scrap weapons to last, and make some stronger fortifications. And the only mask we know of is the one Rick left in his lost car. So we head out on one of our more expendable cars, and before long, we start finding ourselves in some trouble. We manage to drive through a few hordes, but next to the old construction yard, there's just too many. And after praying for a chance to hop out of the car and run, we see our chance, and make our run for the woods, and leaving our car. I mean, I did say it's expendable, but after a little walk through the woods, we finally come to an opening. But of course, there's hordes everywhere. And after making it through to a less infested area, we take out the ones following and take a little break, loot a local barn and a farmhouse, and find some more food. But decide to continue on, killing a few Zeds in the area, and finally seeing the car in the distance. But we're getting tired, and there's plenty of zombies around the car. So we head back to the farmhouse and relax for the night and get some sleep, waking up on day 80. Then head straight out to reclaim Rick's truck. And after killing all the Zeds around it, including Jcutty from Tarkov, who of course has a welding mask, but we get to the truck, fuel it up, and now we have 2 welding masks. And just as we're setting off to head home, my game crashes. And when I reload, the day's restarted. Okay, day 80 again, but we continue our drive, looping around the fields and finding the highway, weirdly empty. So we decide to push our luck and loot some of the local farmhouses. I mean, we do have the time now, so we park up the car and head in on foot, taking out all the Zeds in the area. And finally looting the first house, which has nothing special. We start to make our way to the second house, using the fences to our advantage. But when another wave of the undead appears, we start to get worn out. And of course, with the time reset earlier, we're getting tired already. And the fights are getting a little out of hand. And get so tired we can't even run. And the panic's starting to set in. But we make a break for the car, and the passenger seat is occupied. What? Now I'm screwed. But make a desperate attempt to loop back to the house we slept in the night before, across the fields, and luckily, only one has followed us. So we awkwardly take them out, and make our way to the house, by the skin of our teeth. Head straight upstairs to sleep, but it crashes again. And when I reload, it's day 80 at 4 in the morning again. But screw it, we sleep, but wake up at 4 in the afternoon. And it's still day 80. But head straight back out, killing as we go, until we finally reach the car. Empty the passenger seat of the sweets that Rick left, and head back to loot the last house, killing all the Zeds outside, and looting the whole house, finding mainly food, so really not worth the hassle, but taking a few sleeping tablets so we could finally end day 80. And thank God, wake up on day 81 at a normal time, and I decided it's about time to head back to base. And for some reason, decided to stop at Rick's old abandoned van to see what's inside, and start a huge conga line. But it's all good, we find a gap, and manage to quickly get away in the car. And try and take the old route back to the base across the farmlands, but completely underestimate the hordes. and after pushing through a couple of them, it's time to dump the car, rather than risk getting surrounded. And another sketchy run through the undead follows, but we make it back to base in one piece, and witness the crazy numbers of Zeds around the fence again. But enough of the undead, we finally got the tools we needed, so we get to it, disassembling the inside fences, just to quickly get sidetracked by a small horde. But when they're all dealt with, back to it, and finally leveling up to level 2. And as darkness rolls in, we call it a night, with finally a little bit of progress. And on day 82, we get straight back to it, until we realise we haven't read the next metalworking book. But now that's done, we go out into the prison again, taking down a few cabinets, and finding the perfect fence to level through. And we do exactly that until a very big oversight appears. Our propane torch has ran out of fuel, and even though we got another one back at base, it's just a matter of time before we run out completely. So we run back to base, killing a few intruders as we go, and gathering all our metal supplies, and then get what water's left in the taps to water our farm, and we call it a night, with the propane problem being our main concern for tomorrow. We'll wake up on day 83 to a jet flying over, stirring up the zombies a little, and spend the day thinking of where there might be a propane tank, and clearing out the prison as it's getting a bit out of hand again. And yeah, I'm really cutting this down. I don't want you guys getting bored now. Then get some sleep, taking us into day 84, and think we found our solution to the propane problem. I think there was a big propane tank in the fire station, so head out of the base, killing even more Zeds, and finally taking the van into town, but can't make it far with the hordes blocking all the roads. So we stop on the outskirts and make our way in, and gather a little bit too much attention at the police station. After trailing the hordes around, picking off as many as we can, we're getting tired, so decide to quickly check if the propane tank is actually there, and thank God it is. Just now to deal with the hordes, and after a quick run around and a tactical fence hop, we can finally rest. Now time to get that tank, killing the Zeds around the garage, then looting the area just in case you missed anything. But no way of transporting the tank without a vehicle, and there's no way I'm walking this all the way back to base. So we go out to grab a vehicle, and the hordes are everywhere. But we end up making a risky play. I'm pretty sure the police truck had 4 Molotovs in it. So we go and grab one of those, yoink, so we can burn the bastards. So we juke it across the fields, then light them up. Then start trailing them back to town, hopping the fences into the police station. But being too focused on the plan, I hadn't really noticed that Daryl's knackered, and after a few awkward Zed kills, we can't even run. So the only option, we jump onto the roof, when we can, and finally up, but now it's not safe enough to sleep. So we wait around until it's officially day 85, but finally get some sleep in the early hours, just to wake up to flames almost bringing our journey to an early end. But the whole day is spent trying to sleep on top of the roof and regain our strength for the inevitable fight. Then when it's 11 at night, we get back to it. We hop down and begin to fight our way into day 86. And after a long fight, we are tired and exhausted again. And with more Zeds on the way, we hop onto the roof to get some rest. And get some sleep, waking up into the afternoon. And we start the fight again. But with the Zed population not stopping and starving on the horizon, we had to call it quits and run back to base, where we get some food and get a proper night's sleep, waking up on day 87. And being welcomed by the undead at our door, we head out to the entrance to the prison, clearing our way, and using some metal sheets to barricade the windows, and hopping outside to try and clear them out. And there's quite a lot, so this goes on for almost the whole day, until we decide to try and fight our way to the watchtowers, with the hope there might be some much needed ammo inside. With the bodies piling up, the Zeds don't stop coming, and by 3 in the morning, on day 88, we have to call it a night. Then go straight back to it, fighting all day into the night again, taking multiple breaks, and fighting into day 89. And the fighting doesn't stop until the morning, and we have to pull back as Daryl is shattered again. So we sleep, but wake up at 8 in the evening, but no time to waste. And thank God, it actually seems like we made a dent in the population. We'll fight a few more, and finally get into the tower. And all our hard work was worth it. Oh, yes, okay. A case of shotgun ammo. We walk back to base, take a sleeping tablet, and get a normal night's sleep, waking up on day 90, where we spend the morning preparing, and then to head out with a fully loaded shotgun on our back, and run straight over to the abandoned police truck, and grab the leftover mollies, and make a run towards town, luring as many zombies as we can, and I'm sure you know what happens next. And eventually leading them all to the police station, where we can fill out their numbers. But as the darkness creeps in, we decide to try quiet it down a little bit, fighting some with melee, then sneaking over to the fire station, which doesn't go to plan. But we hop the fence, looping back around, and snatch the propane tank. They try to run back to the police station to use one of the cars in the car park as an escape. But of course, we are overrun by the undead. And after trying to fight them off, give up, grab the propane tank, and luckily find our old van on the outskirts of town. So a risky jump in, and a rush home. But arriving back home, it seems like the Zeds have made it into the base. So quickly grab some more ammo, and run out to the yard to clear them out. By the time it's done, it's 7 in the morning. No better time to get some sleep. We'll wake up in the evening and have to kill some more Zeds that have snuck in. Then we check on our crops. Then have a little wash in the rain and take some sleeping pills so we can sleep normally. We'll wake up on day 92, where we'll finally put our new propane tank to work, taking down the inner fencing. Then go to the prison to try and get some more metal parts for construction later. Then when it's getting late, head back to base and build ourselves a metal workbench. Dumping the rest of our metal supplies on the floor, killing a final intruder, then straight to bed. Waking up on day 93, moving our workbench to a better spot, then struggling to even use it. Then having a bit of a panic, thinking we can't use it because we have a fancy welder mask, not the original one. And go on a wild goose chase, looking in our old police truck for the old welder mask, which I say is not in there, but it definitely is. But anyways, we run all the way back to base, looking in every crate for it, and miraculously, find one in the van, which I can't even remember where it came from. Just to find out, we still can't do anything with a workbench, but we can now do metalworking builds. So I guess I was sort of right, but spend the rest of the night doing absolutely nothing and getting some much needed sleep, waking up on day 94. We spend the start of the day taking out some small hordes, then spend the remainder of the day looking around the prison for furniture to deconstruct, finding a few benches, killing a few more Zeds, then as it's getting dark, finding the old locker room, perfect for leveling up our metalwork. But then head back to base and get some sleep, take us to day 95, where we begin to head out, then realise we haven't even read the next volume of the metalworking. And for some reason, we have volume 4, but no volume 3. So quickly to the prison library, which is really just a pile of books at this point, where we finally find volume 3, so back to base, and a quick read on our comfy armchair. Wait, comfy armchair? Where's that come from? Oh well, I must have got to show that. And with our XP boost, we head out, but instantly get sidetracked by more Zeds wandering down the halls. So we take them out, finding another room to disassemble, and turn our focus to the small building under the armory, as I'm pretty sure this is where all the Zeds are getting in. So we kill the Zeds, then remember the locker room we looted recently, and disassemble that too, and with the materials, decide it's best to block off the hallway back to the prison, starting with wall frames, then disassembling the common room until it's dark, but before we head home, some reason decide to take on a whole horde in the dark, which leads all the way back to base, where we get some sleep, waking up on day 96, and going straight back out, taking apart anything we find, then coming up with a plan for the entrance of the prison. We're going to barricade every window with metal sheets, and use filing cabinets to block the outsides of the windows. Hopefully, that makes it super strong. Start with dismantling everything in the area, and clearing out all the Zeds. Then start sorting the entrance windows, then building some safety doors. Then finish blocking off all the windows, and blocking off one of the doors for good measure. Then finally back home for a good night's sleep, waking up on day 97, then straight back to the entrance, killing tons of Zeds again, and finally blocking off that prison hallway, with windowed walls, barricading them with metal, and a filing cabinet in front. And as we aren't tired yet, I think why not tackle our biggest challenge, blocking off the road around the inner fence, so the Zeds can't just wander in. And the plan's the same as the hallway, wooden walls and windows, barricaded with metal, and as we have a ton of filing cabinets, add them for extra protection. So we fill the car with the supplies, and head out, having to fight a few Zeds on arrival, then putting down some wall frames, and making 2 of them into windows. But it's got pretty late, so we head back and call it a night, waking up on day 98, where we head out to the front with more wooden planks, and ended up fighting a huge horde. But then finally, we can go and finish off some of the walls, making all the ones from last night into windows, and barricading them all. Gathering some more wood and putting them in the van, and some more metal plates as well. Then get some sleep, ready to finish the wall tomorrow, and waking up on day 99, going straight back to the building, taking the van to the wall, and building more walls with windows, and barricading them, and taking the van to the front of the prison to grab the filing cabinets, which we dump in the van, and take back to the wall. And as we put them down, we might have found a small bug. The final filing cabinet seems to cause all the zombies to group together in one spot, which makes it perfect to use a spear on, which I do until my spear breaks. But anyways, after realising the van won't fit through the gap I left, I just blocked that off, with more walls and a couple cabinets, completing my wall. And just a disclaimer, I have no idea if this is actually effective, but we spend the rest of the evening back at base, making a few more rain collectors for the farm, then prepping for our final day, then getting one more sleep, waking up on day 100. So, we've come to the end. and perfectly achieved our goals. Found more ammo for our weapons, got the tools we needed, and achieved a sustainable food and water source. And now, it's time for a celebration. We got tons of mollies and tons of ammo, so time to get some payback. We run outside, almost shitting our pants, but the carnage begins. Blasting through our 5.56 ammo and blowing away groups of Zeds with a shotgun. Having the time of our lives, then crash. Well, what a hilarious way to end the challenge. Thank you so much for all the love on this series. Expect more series just like it. And if you enjoy Rick and Daryl's journey, leave a comment and a like for the algorithm, and subscribe for more. And who knows, maybe Daryl will come back.